On March 27, 2020, the President of the United States signed into law the CARES Act. This is the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act of 2020. Basically, this bill was actually a bill that provided economic relief to struggling industries in the United States, as well as direct cash payments toward Americans themselves. Now, this was actually extremely different from other stimulus packages, in which, the last stimulus package during the last economic crisis that we had was only a couple $100s, except this one provided $1,200 in relief toward Americans. Now on the table, there is a second coronavirus aid relief bill that is going to be introduced into the House of Representatives today and might be voted on by this Friday. Now, this is called the HEROES Act. The HEROES Act is a brand new coronavirus stimulus bill worth $3 trillion at the moment of this posting. Now, the provisions of this I'm going to talk about in just a moment, but if you guys are interested, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we will go ahead and get into it now. Now, the provisions of this bill are as follows. Of the $3 trillion in the HEROES Act, $1 trillion will be allocated towards state, local, and tribal governments. Now, on a graphic I'm going to show right here, this is actually the chart of inescapable shortfalls as the states report them. So states such as Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Louisiana, Florida, Michigan, New York, New Jersey, Maine, Rhode Island, those states are actually suffering from shortfalls greater than 10%. Now, these states, if they are allowed to fail, possibly are not going to be able to provide water, electricity, basic needs and services that they are providing already to their citizens, or they were providing before the coronavirus actually hit. Now, the federal government is providing this money, at least $1 trillion, toward local and state governments. Now, these states are only suffering from basically, like New York and California, they're suffering from about I know California is actually suffering from about a $50 billion shortfall, and I'm actually not familiar with what New York is going through, but the inescapable fact is that these shortfalls are extremely dangerous to these states. Now, they are literally just reeling from the fact that this thing is hitting so suddenly that they are not able to provide for their own services. So now they're relying on the federal assistance to help them out. So a lot of you are wondering, what are your qualifications for this HEROES Act? So a lot of money is going to be allocated toward people who are struggling financially, and that is going to be in the same way that the CARES Act actually distributed $1,200 and $2,400 plus $500 per dependent, which was under the age of 16. So in this next one, it's going to reform on that. So basically, it's going to be $1,200 or $2,400 in the case of a joint return, plus, and this is a big plus, $1,200 per dependent. So basically, it's going to be the $1,200 per individual and then $2,400 if you're married. And then that $500 from the previous coronavirus bill is going to increase to $1,200 with a maximum of 3 dependents. So you can get a maximum of $6,000 per household with every dependent that you have is going to have $1,200. So if you were claimed as a dependent and you were not eligible in the last coronavirus bill, but you are over the age of 16, then I don't know if it's going to do the same thing, the $500 per kid, or if it's just going to be $1,200 or increasing it. So this is going to be another one-time deal where they're going to distribute another $1,200. However, we are looking at some resistance in this. We are finally, and I finally got this because they finally released it afterward, and the news is only coming out just now at the making of this video. Mitch McConnell wants to wait until after Memorial Day to act on this bill. If it passes the House this Friday, they want to vote on it this Friday. The Senate, Mitch McConnell wants to meet with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to actually kind of see where they're going to go from there. So Mitch McConnell, obviously, since he said that he was going to do this beforehand, is waiting on acting on this. He says that there is no urgency on this, which I completely disagree with. And I honestly think Mitch McConnell is very much mistaken, and this is going to basically be Herbert Hoover and the Great Depression if they wait. This is completely ignorant of the Senate Majority Leader, because the last time a Republican president waited to stop an economic collapse, the economy literally collapsed and they were unable to win that election, and they lost the next election after that by a complete landslide. So if the president and Mitch McConnell wait, then it's only basically accelerating the process of this economic collapse. This is trillions of dollars that is needed by state and local governments, and tribal governments especially. Now, as I wrap this up, this is going to be the next couple of bullet points for the HEROES Act. So in the next one, we're actually still, after the $1,200, we're actually looking at expanded unemployment federal benefits, which is actually something that I basically thought was going to happen anyway. So federal unemployment benefits with the $600 additional dollars with your state unemployment benefits, those are going to continue throughout the rest of the year into January of 2021. So then after that, we are also looking at a 15% increase in food stamps and then unemployment retention tax credits, which I believe is going to be tax credits given to businesses that keep their employees. And then on top of that, we are also looking at $25 billion for the United States Postal Service. We are looking at $10 billion additionally for the Paycheck Protection Program. And then we are also looking at $600 million for state and federal prisons. If you are actually paying attention to your local news, you possibly have been looking at a lot of stories about federal and state prisons that have actually been having major outbreaks. For example, I live in Texas, and we have a prison here in Tarrant County. I do not live in Tarrant County, but it's nearby. Tarrant County is actually reported about like 500 cases in the last couple of days, or it was like one day where they reported 500 cases, and about 400 cases of that came from one prison alone. So there is a massive problem with social distancing, with like PPE issues that a lot of prisons are actually having in local prisons. So $600 million is going to be allocated to state and federal prisons, and then an additional $600 million, another $600 million is going to go toward local police departments to help them pay for salaries and equipment. And then on top of that, the $3 trillion, again, this is $3 trillion, we are looking at another $200 billion that is going to go toward hazard pay for essential employees. Essential employees are probably going to be people who are basically, they're people who are working right now. They're people at your local Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, people who are still, on the front lines working as they, putting themselves in danger because of the coronavirus. So $200 billion additional federal dollars are going to be allocated for that. So if you guys like this, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Please check back with this channel for more updates on the HEROES Act if you want to see more of it. So again, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.